Welcome to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. From the latest NBA news to the gridiron and beyond, we are diving deep into the headlines that matter most to you. Today's show is proudly brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, your local experts in digital marketing and audience connection. Before we break the huddle, do me a huge favor. Head over to YouTube and subscribe to The Answer Now TV. Don't miss a single highlight, interview, or heated debate. The clock is ticking and the game is on. Let's go.
Welcome, Sports Answer fans. Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer. Shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. You want to know what Salem Surround's all about? Well, here it is. You've got that new business. You've got that idea that you want to put out in the social media world. You want to market it really, really well, but you just don't know how to get it out there. Well, no more stressing, no more all the confusing questions, nothing like that. Salem Surround's the answer. You can go to the website, salemsurround.com/San Antonio, or call 210-526-3635. What they do is they get your digital marketing needs all taken care of, whether it be through email, whether it be website building. It's just marketing and branding your own business. That's what Salem Surround does for you. Call them today, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. What do we got on this Friday drive home? Well, it's funny because normally you catch us on Sunday Live, but we are coming to you on Fridays now for the drive home. But we got Final Four talk. Obviously, you've got the Final Four teams, Michigan, Arizona, UConn, and Illinois. Illinois is probably the one that a lot of people didn't have in their Final Four. I can almost guarantee that. But also, we'll get into some Robo Umps. You're wondering about robot umpires. We've seen a lot of challenges already this MLB season in this short time. Do you like it? We'll get into that here with our special guests here. Also, Spurs playoff. Victor Wembanyama. We've talked recently how is he ready? Is this his time to shine? We're going to look at the entire team. Are there any teams out there that maybe you feel would be a problem for the Spurs in the playoffs? Drop them in the comments. We will get to your comments here live on the air. MVP ladder was released today. We'll get into that. Plus, we'll end the show with our favorite segment, everybody's favorite segment, the Spurs Chisme segment, where we get into fans versus Ticketmaster, ticket prices, ticket sales. We'll get into that for Spurs fans here. But let's not waste any of our time. Let's bring in our special guest for today here on the drive home. It's going to be Jacob here. Jacob, welcome to the Sports Answer, man. Appreciate you being on with me.
Hey, how you been, Rudy? Thanks for having me.
Decent, man. Appreciate you being here, dude. Jacob, you can catch him on Grading the Market on YouTube as well. But nonetheless, man, lot to talk about, especially around San Antonio. Spurs basketball back in the playoffs. We're going to get into that. I just got to know real quick, man, since you do a lot of Grading the Market stuff, how are those Wemby and Castle cards looking right now, especially the ones that are getting graded at 10s? I mean, I'm sure even Harper stuff's going pretty high.
They're looking good. They're looking good, especially with all this MVP talk and stuff like that. Even the Defensive Player of the Year talk stuff, they got Wemby's cards going through the roof. And Castle, I know we'll get more into that here in a little bit, but we know what kind of year he's been having. So his cards are obviously going up. And yeah, I've been looking for some decent Harper cards. I want to get my hands on some of those. Yeah.
So there you go, man. Jacob's the man, the one to go to when it comes to everything sports cards, trading cards. He's got all the answers for you. You can catch him on Grading the Market, his own podcast here on YouTube as well. But nonetheless, man, we're going to get into some March Madness talk. We'll break down the Final Four here just a little bit. All right, man. Our Final Four is set for the weekend. And just an FYI, I took the Texas Longhorn women to win the women's NCAA National Championship. And it's crazy because all number one seeds are in the women's Final Four, which not too crazy. A lot of that happens more times than not. But as far as the men go, you've got number one Michigan, number one Arizona going up against each other. Plus, then you got UConn and Illinois. Illinois is the odd team out. Not a lot of people had Illinois in there. Maybe the diehard Sacramento King fans took Illinois because Peja Stojakovic's son is part of the Fighting Illini. So maybe that's why Sacramento, some people there took maybe the Fighting Illini. But nonetheless, man, just give me quick picks here. UConn and Illinois. Who do you got winning that game?
I'm going to go with UConn. And I did have them in my bracket right
Mhm.
where they're at. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue rolling with them.
Yeah.
I didn't have them advancing though. Uh, Houston busted up my that side of the bracket for me. So, but I did have them there.
I can understand that, man. I'm gonna take UConn in this game as well. Dan Hurley's just been he's a fiery coach. There was a rumor back, we remember that with the San Antonio Spurs when Pop left. There was a lot of rumors around Dan Hurley possibly coaching the San Antonio Spurs. And I was a big person that said, no, I did not want to see that. Dan Hurley, I think he's fine in the college level. I cannot imagine him and his antics being in the NBA. I don't think it works in the NBA. Just can't really treat refs and players and stuff like the way he does. His fiery attitude is just not NBA
You
up to
don't
NBA per se.
you don't see him going head to head with anybody or stuff like that.
I mean, I could probably see him going head to head with some players, maybe opposing players, even players on the team that he coaches in the NBA. But his style of coaching, it's new age, it's modern age basketball. I mean, you got the fire, you got the love, the passion of the game, but the NBA doesn't translate to that anymore, man. I mean, that was back in the 80s and 90s. Now today's games, you kind of got to coddle a lot of the players, and that's not the type of coach that I think Dan Hurley is. But we're both taking UConn here in that game against the Fighting Illini. Michigan and Arizona, 1 versus 1. Now, Arizona, for me, I had them as my national champion. I picked them at the beginning of the tournament. Still sticking with them. Arizona, I think, is probably the absolute best team in the country. They've got a lot of guys. They've got probably 3 guys that could potentially go in the first round of this upcoming NBA draft. Kobe Pete is probably the #1 guy that you're going to see off the board first for Arizona. Michigan, again, has guys that can go and will go in the first round. This is probably your national champions going to come out of this game right here. Who do you have winning this game?
I had both of these teams right here in my bracket, and I have
Mhm.
Michigan winning the whole thing. So I know you said that you had Arizona. I have Michigan, but yeah, I'm good on this side of the bracket. So I picked Michigan. I'm still rolling with Michigan.
Yeah, you and I both. I had Michigan and Arizona on that side of the bracket. I'm going to stick with Arizona. I'm not changing my pick. I've got them winning. I think Arizona is just way too good, man, to even think like, well, they're going to struggle. They're going to do that. No, I mean, they are way too good of a team.
And,
They've been really good all season. What you got, bud?
and just like you said, I think whoever wins this game, I think that's going to be your champion. For the next. I don't think UConn or Illinois can beat either one of those teams.
No, I mean,
That's just
UConn can. I mean, Mullins is a great shooter for them. I mean, they can really. I'll put it this way. I probably jumped the gun when I said the winner could come out of this game right here, but it's likely that you're going to see your national champion come out of the Michigan Arizona game. I wouldn't put it past UConn maybe sneaking in for the victory there. I mean, it's like they've been so good year after year, and I guess you and I don't want to get Steph Castle on our bad side. So I mean, we probably should take UConn, right?
hey, and I always like seeing a #1 go down, so I wouldn't be upset with it if we were to actually see something like that. You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah,
just saying, yeah.
yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. Either way, it's going to be a great it's going to be a great college basketball weekend, man. You got the women's, you got the men's. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for this NCAA tournament to conclude and see who's going to be raising the national championship trophy. It is Jacob from Grading the Market, Rudy Competition. You're on your drive home on a Friday here. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. You love the MLB. I love the MLB. MLB just got started underway, but man, do you see a lot of challenges by batters and a good amount of batters? And you know what, man? They're winning a lot of these challenges. The question has been coming up lately. Do we see the potential of so-called robot umps coming? Because I think it's going to be there, and I'm going to give you the floor right now. But at the same time, I'm going to kind of push back a little bit here. But go ahead, man. Do you think it's about time that we're going to just see robotic umps here in the MLB? Because it seems like a lot of these calls are not favoring the live umpires.
All right. Well, I'll start off by saying, for those of y'all who aren't familiar with ABS is new. They started it this year. It's the automated ball strike challenges. And what it is, it allows a pitcher, a catcher, or a hitter to challenge a call. And they do it by, signaling to the umpire, tapping on the head. Hey,
Yeah.
Can you review that? And what the umpire will do, then he'll turn around and he'll go check out, pretty much look in a monitor and check out that box that we all see here at home. You know what I mean, already, and he'll determine whether it's a ball or a strike or the right call or the wrong call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the challenge. So each team, they get 2 unsuccessful challenges per game. So if they challenge, they get it right, they still have 2 challenges.
Yeah.
Challenge, you get it wrong, whatever, you have 1 more challenge. Yeah. So the games that I've watched, I haven't seen a lot of them be used. I'll be honest with you. So I do think that I don't necessarily means that we're going to be seeing robot umpires next. I just think that it's a tool that MLB is using to maybe test out, to try to maybe use a little bit more in the future. You always want to get the call right and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think that human factor when it comes to baseball, the diehard fans are going to want to see they're going to want to see some kind of umpire behind home plate. And so I don't think that's ever going to go away.
I agree, man. And you kind of you hit it right on the you hit the nail on the coffin there, because that's where I don't mind the challenges. Every game has challenges now. You can challenge in football, NBA, MLB. I mean, you can challenge, and I get that. But where it really affects me, the diehards, growing up in the 80s and 90s, it's the human error that I really enjoy about every sport. I've coached basketball. I've assisted in baseball. I've assisted in football. And as coaches, you get so annoyed when you see obvious missed calls, but the good coaches understand that it's human nature. It's human error. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. I think that takes away from, okay, so this is another question. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but does it take away from the integrity of the game as we grew up with it? And we knew, we knew, put it this way, I pitched a little bit in middle school and high school, a little bit there. I knew that my strike zone was here, but you had some of those umps that kind of expanded their strike zone a little bit. With ABS, you don't have that anymore. And it takes a little bit out of the game, because now you could paint the corner and you're like, oh yeah, I can paint that corner, and it's maybe just out of the strike zone, but they're giving me that call. They're giving me that call. So the other team has to make that adjustment. Right. And they're usually fair on both sides of it. I mean, if you're getting the call, they usually give it to the other pitcher as well. So there takes a lot of adjustment out. Do you think it takes away that integrity, that part of the game?
I don't think it takes it away, but I want to go back to what you were talking about real quick. And we were about the challenges. And when he talks about the integrity of the game, this was kind of like put more into place of, we all see like a game, whether it be the NFL, NBA, or something, MLB. And at the very, very end of the game, an ump or a referee will screw up a call and it'll change the outcome of the game. You're not going to see a lot of these challenges in the first and second inning. You're not going to see a lot of batters turning around to the ump, like in the third inning, tapping his head and stuff like that. Now, what they want to do is you want to save these challenges towards the end of the game, strategically, for just in case, there is an important pitch or the account, you know what I mean? That's when you want to use them. So that's why I kind of like it, because then if they do get something wrong, okay, they're able to correct it right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like that.
I get that. And, it brought up something here, and I got some breaking news that we'll get into in just a little bit here. But the thing is that you brought a great opportunity here, because you talked about using it towards the later part of the game. Now, let me paint another picture for you. All game long, both pitchers are rolling, they're rolling. And you know what? there's questionable calls. The batters aren't taking them right away. Okay, you know what? Maybe that was a strike. Maybe that wasn't a strike. Yada yada yada.
Mhm.
Then the moment seventh inning comes, you're in a tied game. Eighth inning comes, you're in a tied game. You
Mhm.
challenge that one call that's been iffy all game, and it's a ball.
Mm.
So you're thinking for 8 innings, 7 innings, I've been getting that pitch, and it's been being called a strike. Now the one time they challenge it, it's a ball. What does that do to a pitcher's mentality? Because now you're like, I can't paint that corner anymore.
So you're saying you want to keep the umpire, you want to use it at the beginning, keep the umpire honest
That's
early
the
on.
thing.
That's your thing. Well, and you
Yeah,
know
like
what? And that's what's we have to see. You know what I mean? This is the first year of this challenge. We got to wait and see how managers decide to use them and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's
And
man, it's so
and another thing that it's also going to do is it's going to keep the umpires it's going to keep them honest as well. They're going to want, I mean, I know they do their best to call every strike a strike and every ball a ball, but now it's an unwritten rule that you don't show up an umpire. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
in baseball. You don't show up an umpire. Well, if you throw a pitch right there and you just challenge it and the umpire has to come back and say, "Hey, I was wrong," you know what I mean? Umpires, they're going to have to. They don't want to do that, but they're going to. So they're going to have to be on their A game even more.
There was a recent game where I think there was like 3 or 4 challenges in a row, and of course, the batter won them all,
Hmm.
but the umpire was calling strike, and it was a ball, or he was calling a ball, and it was a strike. I mean, then it's starting to make it makes the umpires just look ridiculous,
Hmm.
and again, it goes back to what we said earlier. It's the human nature part of the game. You're an umpire, man. You trained your entire, career for this, and you're at the MLB, and you're in the big show, and it's like, okay, so all of a sudden I'm giving, this player strikes, I'm giving this player balls, and it's like, what do you know anymore? You've got to close up your strike zone. Then I even had a guy talk to me about it too when I talked to him at out in the streets when I met with him. He was like, what does this do for pitchers like Greg Maddux and Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, a lot of guys that got so many strikeouts, were some of the best pitchers in the game, and yet they weren't getting these questionable calls. They weren't doing this, they weren't doing that. So it's like, what do you do to those records? What do you do to this? What do you do to that? Are we ever going to see perfect games anymore? Because a lot of these perfect games, there's some pitches that are kind of questionable.
Hmm.
They're outside the strike zone. They get called a strike. Does this mean less no hitters, less perfect games? I mean, that is a major factor in all this stuff. So I
It
know we
could
got to
be.
move on, but what do you think
Yeah.
about that?
No, it could be. You're absolutely right. It could be. You know what I mean? I think that that a pitcher or a catcher, in this instance, a perfect game, if somebody has that going, let's say into the eighth or the ninth, then you'll definitely be seeing them using that challenge if they really do think so. You know what I mean? If it's a ball or a strike and stuff like
Can,
that. You
can you
know, it's,
imagine a perfect game being ruined? You're on
mm,
a full count. You make a pitch, calls it strike, you challenge it, and it's a ball.
mm, mm,
I
mm.
mean, you still have your no hitter, but there goes the perfect game.
Yeah, yeah. Mm,
Last batter, last out,
mm.
last strike. I mean,
Full count.
oh my God, man. That goes back to what, the Galarraga
Oh my god, I don't even.
screw up. I mean,
I
it's
felt so bad for that kid.
golly, man.
Mm.
It's a lot, dude. It's a lot. It's crazy stuff to even think about, man. It's crazy stuff to even think about. We got some breaking news. Let me play the basketball segment here. All right, so this is just hot off the press as we don't have a graphic for it. Luka Doncic is out indefinitely due to the hamstring injury he suffered last night against Oklahoma City. He will miss the remainder of the regular season, and his status is uncertain for anything beyond that. Uh, what is your first thoughts on Luka, man, being out? at least for the remainder of the regular season. I think Denver catches them in the standings now without Luka.
Man,
But
first off, as a sports fan, I don't like seeing anybody get hurt. You know what I mean?
no,
I don't. Yeah, I'm not one of those to like be like, oh yeah, no, stop it or whatever. Because I'm a big believer in it might could come back. But now, yeah. And I know we'll probably touch more on this here in a little bit. During this part of the season, I'm a firm believer. One of the most important things is health for your team, especially if you're going into the post. You just got to
yeah,
concentrate on your health. This is a perfect example, of right here. I mean, we had a player, the Spurs back in the day, got the injury bug like this. It hit us before. I remember when
mhm,
Manu almost lost his whole arm right
yeah,
going into the post, and we saw what happened and how that affected those teams with like night and day. The Spurs had to
yeah,
make adjustments, and you could tell just watching that team. It didn't look right. That wasn't the team that we were used to seeing, and we ultimately know what happened. But yeah, man, you got to stay healthy.
and a lot of people question JJ Redick for having him in there, and they were losing by what 20, 30 points.
Mm.
Yeah, Luka was still playing, and people question why do you have him in there? I mean, you're losing that bad, and I get it. You're trying to win, but if it's a blowout, I mean,
Pull everybody.
pull everybody. But again, you also then you go back to what Jay Williams on the Four Letter Network was talking about. He's like, I'm tired of blaming JJ Redick. You play him, he gets hurt. You don't play him, then you're thinking, well, what are you doing? These guys want rest. These guys aren't playing. But yeah, Luka's out there playing through injury and during an injury. What more do fans want? What you're gonna complain about JJ playing him, and you're gonna complain if he does play him or he doesn't play him. And I totally understand that, man. Devastating injury for the Lakers. I mean, it's a regular season. I'm pretty sure it's going to go beyond the playoffs, maybe the first round. Maybe he could be back in the second round if they're able to win. It is going to affect the standings because they are, I believe, a game up on Denver, or maybe a half game up on Denver. So I think Denver does catch them for the third seed, which kind of benefits another team, which is in San Antonio. We're going to get into
Wow.
that here. You know what? Let's take a quick commercial break. Our only commercial break here on the Sports Answer. We're here with Jacob Eric of Grading the Market. We'll be back here in a little bit with Spurs talk, and of course, your Spurs Chisme. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
You've been watching The Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com, San Antonio, and stay in the game.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Nine, por favor.
All right, Spurs Chisme, man. Shout out to Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. Here with Jacob Eric of Grading the Market. Catch him on YouTube. Just search Grading the Market. The show will pop up right there for you guys out there. Are we ready? Simple question. Are we ready for the playoffs? This has been, and shout out to Jeff Garcia, who's also, you can find his show Spurs in Focus here on Answer Now TV, part of the Sports Answer as well. So we talked about it. Teams in the playoffs. Is there a team that we fear? When I ask the question, are we ready? Regular season wise, this has been one of the best Spurs teams regular season wise. I'm hoping they can get to 63, 64 wins. Then you go into the playoffs. Can they still be that dominant in the playoffs? Playoffs is the second season. It's totally different. You've got, coaches that can make adjustments. Playoff basketball is a little more physical. This team has been outshining everybody's expectations all season long. I think they will continue to outshine everybody's expectations going into the playoffs. I don't buy the young card anymore, the inexperienced card. They had plenty of times to show that inexperience throughout the regular season. They haven't, never lost more than 2 games in a row. They are I think they've only lost, one or two games since February 1st. I mean, the numbers are on a different level. And if you would have not known OKC was the number one seed, you would have clearly thought San Antonio was the best team in the league. So, question for you, Jacob, and I'll get into it too, is are you ready? In other words, are we ready for the playoffs? As in, if we meet Denver in that second round, is it going to be a problem? Or do you see other teams in the playoffs that could give the Spurs fits?
I think we are ready. I'm telling you what, the Spurs have proven me wrong all season long. I'll be the first to admit, and happily so. So now going back to your question, I think we are ready. I'm ready. Throw on your black socks, throw on your black shoes. Let's go. I'm ready for the playoffs, and I'm really not scared of anybody. And it doesn't look like the Spurs are scared of anybody either. And I want them to keep that kind of like that energy, that swag almost going. You see them when they play, when they come out there, it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to win it. Now, I know the schedule's been a little bit easy this recently. I think tomorrow they have, Denver?
Denver tomorrow. And they still have Denver again after that. They have one more. They have 2 games after Denver total.
So that'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, no, I am ready. Nobody's really bothering me. Obviously, since OKC is the 1 seed, we're always keeping an eye on them. But, I know we all saw how Wemby kind of called him out, on his comments or his post-game comments. So if Wemby's not worried about it, I'm not worried about it, type of deal. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Not even a team like Denver, you think, gives them? Because a healthy Denver team is pretty darn good.
It's not that I'm not worried about. You know what? I'm not worried about. I don't think that I don't think anybody's going to beat them 4 times within 7 games.
That's a good point.
That's what I'm not worried about. And that, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, who are they going to beat them 4 times? You just said it a while ago that they haven't lost back to back. And when was the last time they lost 2 games?
I think it was technically last year in 2025, but I mean, they haven't lost more than 2 games since last season.
Yeah.
Okay. I can get behind that. I will say this. I'm scared of Denver. A healthy Denver team, I'm scared. Playoff Joker, big time playoff Murray. We've seen both of those guys go on magical runs for Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Gordon's healthy now, so he plays a huge factor. The thing that people overlook on Denver is the fact that Denver's been with injuries all year. They've dealt with injuries. Aaron Gordon's been out for a good part of the year. Nikola Jokic was out for a good amount of time. Jamal Murray was out. So it was almost kind of like the Spurs team when they were bitten by the injury bug and you knew they were really good, but they couldn't just get it together because they had to go through so many injuries throughout the season. I think that's what Denver is. If playoff Denver comes in healthy, I think I'm more scared of them than I am of OKC.
Okay, so if they were to bump into Denver, who are you taking in how many games? What do you
considering the Spurs have home court advantage, I would take San Antonio in 7.
7?
7 games. I think it's a 7-game series.
All right, I would say 6.
I can give you the 6. I can definitely see that, but I think 7-game series is, put it this way, I would take Spurs in 6 over OKC, but I would take them in 7 over Denver. Golly, man, Denver is so good when they're clicking. They're so good.
So you're more worried about Denver than you are OKC?
Yeah, I would openly say that I am more worried about Denver. Just OKC, you got SGA, but when I've looked at the Spurs this year, they've got something that I think can compete with OKC, and that is a 3-headed monster in Castle, Harper, and Fox. And I remember at the beginning of the season when they drafted Harper, I said, you've got to start these 3 guys together. I mean, you have to. Now you're starting to see them play together, and it looks really scary when all 3 are on the court together. But that's something that OKC doesn't have. It's SGA, it's Jalen Williams, and then you kind of go Jared McCain, you got a few other guys, Wallace is there. But, I mean, I think if you're looking at it overall, I think the Spurs backcourt, especially clicking now the way that it is, would give OKC a lot more problems. And then we know Chet can't handle Victor. So I mean, that's why I kind of side with. That's why I kind of side with Denver more than OKC because Joker is just ridiculous, man. He
Well,
could give Wimby.
Joker's always going to be scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, he's going to give him fits. It's playoff Joker, man. It's
Yeah.
definitely playoff Joker.
Yeah,
We got
but
Spurs and Clippers.
I'm still just not worried about him. I think the Spurs are just too deep, and I'm happy that the Spurs. I think with their depth, you know what I mean. So if somebody goes down, hey, the next man up. I'm not knock on wood. Like I said, I was preaching a little bit earlier. I want them all to stay healthy right now, but if they can just if they stay out of the way that they are, um, I'm I feel very confident going into the post.
Yeah, it's. I think I'm excited. I'm taking Spurs in 7 over Denver, but you know what? Let's get to the first round first. We'll talk more about the first round. That's got to be the most important part right there. Jeff is in here from Spurs and Focus. Is Murray the real key for Denver versus the Spurs? He's going to go off, but I don't think he's the key. I think what it is Joker and Gordon. I think it's Joker and Gordon. That's the big factors for me. Murray's going to get his, but if Gordon gets going, then you have Cam Johnson, I believe, is there.
Gordon under the radar though is a little scary.
Very scary.
Yeah, when he gets going, yeah.
He's very scary. And that's the part is that a lot of people don't remember. Like this guy was out for a good part of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like now he's back. I mean, and he's playing just like he never left. So I mean, you've also got, you've got Cameron Johnson, who hasn't been the greatest for them, but he could turn it off at any time. So, I mean, I'm more worried about those guys than I am for Murray here. But again, are we ready? We feel that we are ready. I think Denver's the only team that really gives us any fits. And shout out to Jeff Garcia, Spurs in Focus. I did a show with him that was released today. You can catch it on Answer Now TV as well, on all the other platforms that we do here. So, we had a really good talk, really, really good talk on the Spurs going into the playoffs. He has another one. Is it better for the San Spurs to stay at 2 than in West tournament? I actually don't even care anymore, knowing that Luka is out. I mean, either they get 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter. I think I would go with them at 1 because then you don't meet Denver or OKC until the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
But will they get to 1? I don't know. What do you think?
You saying if they have a chance to catch the 1 spot, keep going?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm good with that.
I mean, you're going to get the number. You're going to get the.
There's never anything wrong with being the number 1.
Well, I know that you get home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs.
Right.
So I mean that you can't really beat that. So I think going to 1 would be better. Speaking of 1, man, we got MVP talk here. The ladder was brought out today. It was released by the NBA. Victor's at 1. Everything stays steady. Victor, Shea, Nikola, the 3 guys that I've had 1, 2, 3, pretty much all single season. Surprised you that Victor stays at 1 again in this MVP ladder because people like me have said that I think you got to catch OKC in order for him to solidify it. But at the same time, man, I mean, he's putting up some, other than scoring, he's putting up some ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, no, he is. And I know I'm going to get some tomatoes thrown at me, but for saying it. But no, if somebody asks me, and people have asked, they're like, hey, Jacob, how do you feel? As a matter of fact, earlier today when I was visiting with Barber P, he was like, hey, who do you think's going to get the MVP? And I was like, to me, it's still SGA. That doesn't mean I don't want Victor Wembanyama to get the MVP. You know what I mean? I'm going to be rooting for him to get it, but part of me just keeps still thinks it is going to be SGA.
Yeah, I think it leans more towards SGA. Victor's been putting up way better numbers these past couple of weeks, so I can understand the MVP ladder going in Victor's favor right now. Man,
as of now, though, things can change.
So as of right now, I would put Victor slightly ahead of SGA, slightly.
Okay.
And I think what it is more so, and I mentioned it to Jeff on Spurs in Focus. It was more so of this. The Spurs run that they had after February 1st does not happen without Victor. They are on another world when it comes to this run that they've had. I think it was so many like double digit figure wins, like were like in double digits or something like that, is what Jeff had said. I mean, they are literally blowing teams out.
Well,
And
they blew somebody out last night without him, didn't they?
it was the Clippers. They blew him
Okay.
out with the Clippers. And again, Victor didn't play, and you can say, well, he didn't play, and they still blew out the Clippers. I mean, okay,
Okay.
I
I'm
get
just
that.
pointing that out.
I get no, I love the feedback on that. I get that completely. I do understand that, but
It's
I
just something
mean,
for the Spurs fans, for all of y'all out there to think about. You know what I
so
mean?
you're saying the Spurs are better without Victor. I'm gonna
No,
throw you under the bus
no.
right now. No, I get what you're saying. I mean, the Spurs have won without Victor in the lineup, but does that take away from the MVP status? It shouldn't. I don't think it does,
Okay.
because SGA goes out and Sam Presti made a deal for Jared McCain. They were still winning with Jared McCain.
Mhm.
I mean, so we can throw that against the wall, see if it sticks. We can throw Victor against the wall, see if it sticks. If you want to really go that route, Denver is probably a play-in team without Joker. So, I mean, he's truly the MVP. And again, I love Joker because he's average. He's leading the league in rebounds and assists,
Mhm.
and he's a center. As assist, he's averaging a triple-double again. This
Yeah.
is the modern day Arvydas Sabonis.
Yeah.
And if we're talking MVP most valuable player, well, there's nobody that touches Nikola Jokic. I mean, if that's the way you want to go on that route. Does SGA get more pop for MVP because he's putting up great numbers versus better teams, big good numbers against weaker teams? Spurs have a weaker strength of schedule to close the season. It's a good point. SGA is putting up big numbers against bigger teams, better teams, where Vic is putting up his numbers against okay teams, but you can't blame the schedulers for that. I mean, especially towards the end of the season. What do you think on that?
You can't blame it. You can't blame it, but you know that I think it probably will. You know what I mean? Affect it a little bit, especially with the voters.
I think Victor comes up short when it's all said and done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think SGA is going to win it. Like I said, I'm still going to be rooting for Victor. But so when y'all leave it in the comments trying to throw tomatoes at me, and be like, hey, no, I want to make it known I'm going for Victor. I'm rooting for Wemby, but I just think it's SGA is going to get it.
Right now, Victor's got my vote. I have him just ahead of SGA, but when it's all said and done, I still think they need to catch Oklahoma City for that 1 seed in order for them. And I brought it up to Jeff. I'll give you the same question. I said, what if in the last, this is what we talked about 11 games ago. What if the last 11 games they go 11-0 or they go 10-1? I mean, you just close out the season on a monster 15, 16 game win streak.
Well, can I ask this? What happens with the OKC? So would they catch him or at least get a little bit close to them?
So, yes. Okay. So that was
Okay.
the other part. If the Spurs can get within 1 game of OKC at minimum,
I think that would change my mind. That would change my mind. Okay.
That's exactly what I told Jeff. I said it would change my mind. I think I would give it to Victor unanimously. I would give it to Victor.
There you go.
I think that would be that's fair. That's fair. That's your MVP talk. One more part of Spurs Chisme, then we're going to end the show here. We're going to get Jacob's take on this. Man, there was a lot of freaking out on X about this. Spurs have limited the playoff tickets to only those who live within San Antonio city limits. Now, it's 150 miles outside of San Antonio. If you live 150 miles outside of San Antonio, you can buy Spurs tickets. I saw people, I live in here. I live in Cali. I live in Arizona. I live in Oklahoma. I live here. I can't buy tickets. Why can't I buy tickets? I am a Spurs fan. Why can't I buy tickets? What do you think of this rule, man?
I'm kind of, I don't want to sound cliche, but I'm split on it. Like, I understand it. You know, I understand what they're trying to do. I think that there's like a better way, I guess, that they could do it, you know, because it does happen. Tell a quick story. I had an uncle who lived in Northern California, and he was like the hugest Spurs fan. So whenever the Spurs would make a run, like whenever the playoffs, he would actually come down to San Antonio. He would be like, "Hey, Jacob, you got me on my tickets, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're good." But you know, going into this, if he was to try to like get him like on his own or whatever, he wouldn't be able to do it. And so
Yeah.
that I get what people are mad. In other
So
words.
let me open this up to you. Say the Spurs run into the Lakers in the playoffs. Have you not been to a Lakers Spurs game in San Antonio?
I have been.
It is a sea of gold and purple.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Not a lot of people are traveling from Los Angeles to get to San Antonio to see a regular season game. There are a ton of Laker fans in San Antonio and surrounding areas.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Spurs are thinking, well, we want to keep opposing fans out of the arena, what do you do in a situation like that?
Yeah, like they're already here.
They're here. They're going to buy a ticket. They're going to show up in Lake. Are you going to tell them you're in Laker gear? We need you to turn around and go change or put on a Spurs shirt. I mean, I have no problem with what they're wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure out what's the end game, because you do have teams that are well traveled by fans across the country that live in San Antonio. I mean, you've seen a plethora of, Laker gold and purple colors in the arena. You can't stop those fans that live inside San Antonio from going. So what's the end game to that?
Yeah, you're not going to get everybody. Yeah, and you're all right, man. It's when you go to the Lakers games, and to me, I'll even throw Dallas in there. I know when I've gone to a couple of Dallas games, they were to try to use that. You just see a lot of Dallas fans who are already here. So I don't know what they would do with them in that instance or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I understand what they're trying to do, like I said, but I think that there's a better way that they're gonna have to start vetting, Rudy. They're gonna have to try to find a way to start vetting.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to
fill out a questionnaire or something like that. You know what I mean? Mail it in.
FBI type stuff, man. Yeah. Well, the lower income San Antonio Spurs fans are going to be eventually phased out of home games because of the rising ticket prices, especially when the new arena opens. Yeah, man. I mean, I said it when they, ticket prices have not gone down. I would go to Spurs games, but I just quit going. I mean, my daughter recently wanted to go to a game, and we looked at tickets, and to get a decent ticket, because I cannot sit up on the nosebleed section. I just can't do it. I have really bad like my vertigo or stuff like that. I just can't do it. I get real dizzy. Yeah. But we looked at lower level, and I'm talking like mid, not super floor or whatever, just lower level. And it's like $150 a ticket. I mean, $175 a ticket. And I'm thinking that's $300 for just me and my daughter. If my wife wants to go, that's another $150 or $450. Parking's always what, $25, $30 maybe. So I'm a good half of $500 in to a game, and we haven't even gone inside.
You're not even there yet.
Yeah, we're not even in the arena yet. So we're talking, if they want to get something to eat, that's another $40 maybe. So it's difficult. And I know you've had people out there who have said, well, just make more money, or, do this or do that, or you should just. It's not that, man. I mean, you can't just say go make more money if, you don't have that kind of money to spend, or you're not getting paid great. I mean,
for me, when I think about it, and I was actually looking at coming or trying to go to a couple of Spurs games here, but you know what? Like you said, every time I click on it, and it's not that I can't afford it, but when I look at the ticket prices, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm about to spend like about $400 or $300. Let's say I'm just gonna be cheap, like $300. I think about it. I was like, you know what? I can go to HEB and just have like a big barbecue.
Watch it at home.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like invite the family over, turn on the projector, watch the kids are running around, everybody's having a good time. To me, that's much more fun. But so yeah, it happens.
It's the experience, man. I get the experience, especially I've been to a lot of playoff games. I've been to my fair share of games. Other than my little girl's growing up, she wants to go to Spurs games. I'm kind of like, well, we'll go to a couple, but I mean, not right now, especially towards the end of the season, it is what it is. I eventually will take her to a few more games, but it's just going to get higher. Those $150 tickets are going to be $225.
Yeah.
And then your nosebleed section is going to probably be close to $100 if it's not $100 already. I have no idea what those cost up in the nosebleed, but if it's $60, $70, you're probably looking at another like maybe $20 increase. So it's just going to get more pricier to go to games. And again, can't really do much about it, man. Playoff ticket wise, you got your tickets or you're not going at all?
No, I'm not probably not gonna be here.
I didn't think so either, man. I didn't think you would be going. I definitely won't be going, man. Jacob Barrett, Grading the Market, man. You can definitely catch him on his YouTube show, Grading the Market. Does a fantastic job. Before we go, Jacob, I want to ask you a quick thing on Grading the Market because you do a lot of the collectible stuff, man, a lot of sports cards. If you had to take a Con Knipple 1-of-1 or a Dylan Harper 1-of-1, which one would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question. The Spurs fan in me would take the Dylan Harper 1-of-1. However, the Con Knipple's cards right now are going through the roof. You know what I mean? And especially because of that Rookie of the Year and his 3-point shooting, that display that he's putting on over there in Charlotte. But yeah, his cards are up there. You know what I mean? So I was lucky enough to pull an auto earlier.
Yeah, you're more lucky than I am.
Wanted to flex a little bit, so
I would probably pull something like a Luka to 10 and sell it like I did a long time ago. But that's a story for a whole different show, man. Appreciate
minor detail.
Yeah, minor details. Appreciate Jacob Eric from Grading the Market joining us here today on the Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Call them today or go to their website, salemsurround.com/San Antonio to get your digital marketing needs taken care of. That is Salem Surround. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. You can catch me on every Sunday as well as now on Friday for the drive home here on the Sports Answer. Shout out to everybody that does everything for us here at the Sports Answer. For Jacob Barrick, it is Rudy Campos Jr. When you've got those burning sports questions, we've got the Sports Answers. See you guys later.
You've been watching the Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com, San Antonio, and stay in the game.